Admiral Lyra Xente stood at the observation deck of the consortium's flagship Starweaver, her iridescent scales reflecting the dim starlight as she studied the peculiar anomaly before her. After 3 centuries of exploring the galaxy's spiral arms, she had never encountered anything quite like this, a complete void in the cosmic conversation. "Status report," she commanded, her dual-toned voice carrying across the bridge. Senior Analyst Mrek adjusted his sensory appendages before responding. "It defies everything we know about developing civilizations, Admiral. Sector 2814 should be bustling with electromagnetic chatter. Every emerging civilization goes through a period of broadcasting their presence across the cosmos. It's a universal constant, until now." The holographic display showed a spiral galaxy with countless points of light representing civilizations at various stages of development. But there, in a seemingly ordinary spiral arm, lay a space that was eerily silent. "Show me the historical data," Lyra ordered, her copper eyes narrowing. The display shifted, showing centuries of collected data. Primitive radio waves had indeed emerged from this region approximately 2 Earth centuries ago, following the expected pattern of a developing civilization. Then, gradually, the signals had diminished until they became almost indistinguishable from background radiation. "Could they have destroyed themselves?" Lieutenant Commander Voss asked, his crystalline form pulsing with curiosity. Mrek's appendages twitched in disagreement. "Negative. Our long-range scanners show a thriving biosphere on the 3rd planet. Cities are visible. Artificial satellites orbit the world. They're there. They're just quiet." Admiral Xente had overseen first contact with 17 different civilizations during her career. Each one followed predictable patterns. The discovery of radio waves, the explosion of broadcasts into space, the development of early space travel, and eventually, contact with the consortium. It was as reliable as the laws of physics themselves. "Launch the probe array," she commanded. "Full spectrum analysis. Let's see what our silent friends are hiding." The Starweaver's automated systems deployed a network of sophisticated sensor platforms, positioning them at the edge of the solar system. Hours passed as data streamed in, painting a picture that grew more confusing with each new detail. "Admiral," Mrek called out, his voice carrying an unusual tremor. "You need to see this." The holographic display updated, showing a detailed analysis of Earth's satellite network. At first glance, it appeared primitive. Weather satellites, communication relays, and basic orbital platforms. But beneath that obvious layer, "Impossible," Voss whispered, his crystalline form flickering with disbelief. The seemingly primitive satellites were generating a complex quantum field, one that shouldn't have been possible with their apparent level of technology. It was subtle, sophisticated, and absolutely deliberate. "They're hiding," Lyra realized, her scales shifting to a deeper shade of blue. "Every satellite we're seeing is a facade. The question is, what lies beneath?" The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. In all of recorded history, no civilization had ever developed the capability, or the patience, to deliberately mask their technological advancement. The very concept went against every known pattern of sociological development. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Voss interjected, "consortium protocols are clear regarding first contact scenarios. We should inform the Council and proceed with standard diplomatic procedures." Lyra continued studying the data, her copper eyes reflecting the holographic displays. "No," she said finally. "Standard procedures assume we're dealing with a standard civilization. This," she gestured to the readings, "this is something else entirely." She straightened, her decision made. "Prepare the whispered truth for launch. Minimal crew, diplomatic configuration. I want us to approach exactly as they expect, as if we believe their carefully crafted illusion of a primitive civilization." "Admiral," Mrek protested, "regulations state." "Regulations," Lyra cut him off, "were written for civilizations that announced their presence to the cosmos. These humans," she paused, tasting the strange word. They'd done something unprecedented. They've hidden in plain sight, keeping their true capabilities secret. The question isn't just how they did it, but why. She moved to the tactical display, studying the solar system's layout. Think about it. Every civilization we've encountered broadcasts their achievements, their discoveries, their very existence into space. It's a fundamental part of technological and social evolution. But these humans, they chose silence. They developed the capability to mask their true nature from the entire galaxy, and they've maintained that deception for what appears to be generations. It suggests a degree of species-wide coordination that should be impossible at their apparent development stage. Voss noted, his crystalline form pulsing with troubled light. Exactly, Lyra agreed. Which means either they've achieved a level of social development far beyond their technological appearance, or they have a very good reason to hide. Mrek finished quietly. The Admiral's scales shifted to a deep purple, a sign of serious contemplation among her species. Prepare the whispered truth. I will lead the diplomatic mission personally. Let's see how our silent friends respond to a visitor who plays along with their masquerade. As her crew carried out their orders, Lyra returned her gaze to the holographic image of Earth. In all her years of service, she had never encountered a species that chose to hide its light from the cosmos. Such restraint, such coordination, such patience. It spoke of something new in their experience of the galaxy. And if there was one thing Admiral Lyra Sentai had learned in her centuries of service, it was that genuine novelty in the cosmos usually meant either tremendous opportunity or tremendous danger, often both. The question that burned in her mind as she watched the whispered truth being prepared was simple: which would humanity prove to be? The whispered truth glided through the solar system with deliberate grace, its systems broadcasting standard consortium diplomatic protocols. Admiral Sentai watched from the command chair as her small crew maintained the carefully choreographed approach. Everything about their vessel's posture was designed to appear open, unthreatening, and, most importantly, convinced of Earth's primitive status. Entering range of their conventional detection systems, reported Navigation Officer Pell, his gelatinous form rippling with concentrated light patterns. Lyra nodded. Maintain course. Let's see how they handle their first official contact with alien life. The response, when it came, was precisely what one would expect from a civilization at Earth's apparent technological level. A burst of radio signals, multiple attempts at communication across various frequencies, and the expected mix of excitement and trepidation in their transmissions. Too perfect, Lyra thought. Too precisely what we'd expect. Signal coming through. Communications specialist Era announced, her crystalline appendages dancing over the controls. Audio and visual, using basic electromagnetic wavelengths. The main screen activated, showing what appeared to be an Earth military command center. A human male in a formal uniform stood at the center of the frame, his expression a carefully measured mix of awe and composure. Unknown vessel, this is General Michael Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. On behalf of humanity, we welcome you to our solar system. Lyra allowed her scales to shift to a welcoming shade of azure, a gesture that would be wasted on beings who couldn't perceive her species' full color spectrum. General Chen, I am Admiral Lyra Sentai of the Galactic Consortium. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic contact with your world. The human's expression remained perfectly diplomatic. We are honored by your presence, Admiral. However, I must ask about your vessel's current trajectory. You're approaching rather close to our defensive perimeter. Lyra's secondary heart skipped a beat. Their sensors showed no defensive perimeter, at least none that a civilization at Earth's apparent level should be capable of maintaining. Our apologies, General. Perhaps you could provide us with the coordinates of this perimeter. Our sensors detect only basic satellite arrays. The slight smile that crossed General Chen's face sent a shiver through Lyra's scales. Of course, Admiral. We're transmitting the coordinates now. The data packet that arrived was encrypted using quantum protocols that shouldn't have existed on Earth for at least another century. When Era decoded it, The tactical display transformed. The seemingly primitive satellite network shimmered and revealed its true nature. Thousands of platforms shed their camouflage, showing weapon systems that combine technologies from at least a dozen different spacefaring civilizations, some of which even the consortium had never successfully replicated. By the first light, Pell whispered, his bioluminescence flickering with shock. The human general's smile remained unchanged. Admiral, while we appreciate the consortium's diplomatic approach, we should inform you that we've been aware of your presence since you entered the Oort cloud. The Starweaver is an impressive vessel, but its sensor arrays are rather conventional. Lyra felt a moment of genuine admiration mixed with concern. Every assumption they'd made about Earth's capabilities had been wrong. The silence in space wasn't a sign of technological limitation. It was a deliberate strategy. I see we have much to discuss, General, Lyra replied carefully. Though I admit, I'm curious why a civilization with your obvious capabilities would choose to hide them. Chen's expression grew more serious. Admiral, humanity learned long ago that broadcasting one's capabilities to the cosmos is not always wise. We prefer to understand those we meet before revealing our true nature. Speaking of which, he paused, and several new displays appeared on Lyra's screen. These are the 7 other consortium vessels currently hiding behind the outer planet's magnetic fields. Please inform them that while we appreciate their tactical positioning, it's unnecessary. We've been tracking them since they arrived. Lyra's scales flushed with embarrassment. Those vessels were using the consortium's most advanced stealth technology. They shouldn't have been detectable by any known means. Perhaps, Chen continued, we should begin our diplomatic discussions with a foundation of honesty. We are transmitting coordinates for a neutral meeting station in high Earth orbit. And Admiral. His smile returned, but there was steel behind it. This time, let's both drop our pretenses. As the transmission ended, Lyra turned to her crew. Their expressions mirrored her own mixture of awe and concern. Humanity hadn't just hidden their technological advancement. They had surpassed the consortium in several crucial areas. More importantly, they had done so while maintaining the galaxy's largest deception. Orders, Admiral. Era asked quietly. Lyra studied the tactical display, noting how Earth's revealed defense network had automatically adjusted to maintain coverage of both the whispered truth and the hidden consortium vessels. The complexity and efficiency of the system spoke of centuries of development, not the decades their apparent timeline suggested. We proceed to the coordinates, she decided. But first, contact the Starweaver. The Council needs to understand that we're not dealing with an emerging civilization. She paused, her scales shifting to a deep violet. We're dealing with a species that has turned privacy into an art form, and secrecy into a shield. The question is, what were they hiding from? As the whispered truth altered course for the meeting station, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's revelation of their true capabilities wasn't the end of their surprises. In fact, she suspected it was only the beginning. The meeting station exceeded every expectation Lyra had formed about human engineering. From the outside, it appeared to be a simple orbital platform. Inside, it was a marvel of technological integration that somehow managed to make the consortium's finest facilities seem primitive by comparison. The station's interesting, isn't it? Sarah Martinez, Earth's chief of technological development, gestured at the seamless walls that shifted between opacity and transparency on mental command. We found that combining zeta reticuli phase technology with Proxima quantum mechanics created some fascinating possibilities. Lyra's scales rippled with shock. You've encountered the zeta reticuli. They went extinct over 3,000 years ago. Sarah's smile held secrets. Not exactly. Please, follow me to the conference room. It's time you understood why we chose the path of silence. The conference room's walls came alive with holographic displays, showing Earth's history, but not the history the consortium had detected from space, the real history. First contact for us wasn't peaceful, Sarah began. In 1947, a Zeta Reticuli scout ship crashed in New Mexico. We learned two crucial things from that incident. First, we weren't alone. Second, we were horrifically unprepared. Images flowed across the walls. The crashed ship, the recovered technology, the bodies of beings that had died long before humans walked upright. The ship's database was intact, Sarah continued. It showed us a galaxy teeming with life, but also with conflict. Species that broadcast their presence too early often became targets. Those who revealed their technological advances too quickly found themselves colonized or conquered. Lyra watched as the images shifted to show more crashes, more recoveries. You've been collecting crashed ships for centuries. Sarah laughed. No, Admiral. We've been attracting them. That incident in 1947 taught us something vital. Our planet's magnetic field, combined with some unique properties of our ionosphere, creates conditions that can disrupt certain types of faster-than-light drives. Once we understood this, we enhanced these natural features. The display showed a network of hidden facilities around the globe, each manipulating Earth's magnetic field in subtle ways. You deliberately caused ships to crash. Lyra's scales darkened with concern. No deaths, Sarah assured her. We made sure the crashes were survivable. Each incident gave us new technology, new understanding. We reverse-engineered what we found, combined technologies in ways their original creators never imagined, and most importantly, we kept everything hidden. The images shifted again, showing the gradual development of Earth's defensive systems. What appeared to be simple weather satellites were actually quantum-linked weapon platforms. Civilian communication arrays masked gravity manipulation systems. Every piece of visible technology was a cover for something far more advanced. But why maintain the deception for so long? Lyra asked. Your capabilities now rival or exceed those of the consortium in many areas. Sarah's expression grew serious. Because we learned another lesson from those crashed ships. The galaxy operates on visible power. Species that display their strength become targets for alliances or conquest. Those that appear weak are ignored or patronized. We chose a third path, to be underestimated. New images appeared, showing encounters with other alien vessels over the decades. Each time, Earth appeared primitive, helpless. Each time, they gathered more information, more technology. We unified our world in secret, Sarah explained. While maintaining the appearance of division, we built a global defense network. While seeming to struggle with basic spaceflight, we were exploring nearby star systems. Every broadcast of primitive technology was a carefully crafted deception. Lyra studied the displays, her tactical mind recognizing the brilliance of the strategy. You turned your entire planet into a facade. We turned our apparent weakness into our greatest strength, Sarah corrected. The galaxy's powers saw what they expected to see. Another primitive world slowly developing. None looked closer. None suspected that we were taking their lost technology, improving it, and building something new. The displays showed Earth's true space presence, cloaked ships, hidden bases throughout the solar system, and technology that combined the best aspects of a dozen different civilizations' achievements. And now, Lyra asked, why reveal yourselves to the consortium? Sarah's smile returned. Because it's time for Phase 2. We've hidden long enough, learned enough. The galaxy is changing, Admiral. The consortium isn't the only power seeking to expand its influence. We've detected others, moving in the shadows, preparing for something large-scale. The final display showed patterns of movement across the galaxy, shifts in trade, unexplained disappearances of ships, unusual military buildups. We're revealing ourselves to you, Sarah concluded, because we believe the consortium needs to understand something crucial. The quiet ones are sometimes the most prepared. Earth isn't just another world to be added to your alliance. We're offering something more valuable. A partnership with those who have made an art of watching from the shadows. Lyra stared at the tactical displays, her mind racing with implications. Humanity hadn't just hidden their development. They had created an entirely new way of existing in the galaxy. The question was, what had they seen coming that made such extreme measures necessary? The Consortium Council's emergency session was anything but orderly. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued across the quantum-linked chamber, their voices blending into a cacophony of concern and outrage. Admiral Lyra Sente stood at the center, her scales maintaining a neutral gray as she delivered her report. The humans' technological capabilities exceed our initial assessments, she concluded. Their mastery of derived technologies suggests a level of innovation we haven't encountered before. High Counselor Vex, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation, spoke first. This is unprecedented. No species has ever successfully hidden their advancement at this scale. The security implications alone are precisely why we're here. A new voice cut through the chamber. Sarah Martinez stepped forward, accompanied by General Chen. Their sudden appearance in the supposedly secure council chamber sent ripples of shock through the assembled representatives. How did you? Vex began. The same way we've been monitoring this chamber for the past century, Sarah replied calmly. Your quantum security is impressive, but it has certain exploitable patterns. The chamber erupted again, but Chen's voice carried over the chaos. We're not here to threaten or intimidate. We're here because what we've detected makes this petty power play irrelevant. Holographic displays materialized throughout the chamber, showing patterns of movement across the galaxy's outer rim. Ships appearing and disappearing. Entire star systems going dark. While the consortium focused on maintaining its political dominance, Sarah continued, something has been moving in the shadows, something that makes humanity's deception look trivial by comparison. The displays zoomed in on a sector of space beyond the consortium's borders. The void there was too perfect, too complete. 3 months ago, we lost contact with our deep space monitoring posts in that region, Chen explained. Not through destruction. They simply ceased to exist. No debris, no radiation signature, nothing. It's as if that section of space was overwritten. Lyra felt her scales shift to midnight blue, deep concern. Overwritten. That's not possible. 6 years ago, we discovered references to something similar in a crashed ship's database, Sarah said. The ship was ancient, predating the Zeta Reticuli civilization. Its warning was fragmentary but clear. They called them the Void Makers. The chamber fell silent as new data streamed across the displays. Mathematical models showing space-time distortions, energy patterns that defied known physics. Your civilizations broadcast their presence across the cosmos, Chen continued. You light up the galaxy with your achievements, your conflicts, your very existence. We chose silence because we detected echoes of something that hunts such signals, something that doesn't just conquer or destroy, but erases. High Counselor Vex's crystalline form dimmed. If what you're saying is true. It is. Sarah interrupted. And now we face a choice. The consortium can continue to debate the political implications of Earth's deception, or we can prepare for what's coming. Because those spatial distortions, they're accelerating. We estimate 18 months before they reach consortium space. Lyra stepped forward. What exactly are you proposing? A partnership, Chen replied. Earth's innovation and stealth technology, combined with the consortium's resources and reach. We've spent centuries learning to hide in plain sight. Now we need to teach that art to others. Sarah gestured, and the displays showed new schematics. Modifications to consortium ships and stations that would make them nearly undetectable. Your civilization is too vast to fully conceal, she explained. But we can help you create shadows within shadows, false patterns to deceive whatever's coming. We've had centuries of practice after all. And in return, Vex asked. Survival, Chen said simply. We believe these entities are drawn to concentrated patterns of technological signals. The more a civilization broadcasts its presence, the more it attracts their attention. Earth chose silence out of caution. Now we know our caution was justified. Lyra studied the data streams, her tactical training recognizing the patterns. "You're not just offering an alliance," she realized. "You're offering to teach us how to fundamentally change our way of existing in the galaxy." Sarah nodded. "The age of broadcasting power across the cosmos is ending. The choice now is simple: learn to embrace the shadows, or risk being erased from existence entirely." The chamber erupted in debate once more, but Lyra noticed something telling. The loudest voices were already dimming, their arguments giving way to whispered conversations and thoughtful silence. Humanity had brought more than a warning. They'd brought proof that their way of existing in the galaxy might be the key to survival itself. As the council chambers darkened with the weight of decision, Lyra couldn't help but appreciate the irony. Humanity's greatest deception might end up being their greatest gift to the galaxy. The art of staying silent in a universe where being noticed could mean extinction. 1 year later, Admiral Lyra Xente stood on the observation deck of Earth's Titan base, watching as another consortium fleet underwent its transformation. The massive ships, once proud broadcasts of civilization's achievements, were being retrofitted with human-designed stealth systems. "The integration rate is improving," Sarah Martinez noted, joining her at the window. "Your engineers are learning our methods faster than expected." "Necessity is proving to be an excellent teacher," Lyra replied, her scales shifting in patterns that reflected the work below. "Though I admit, watching our greatest vessels disappear into the void still unsettles me." The ships in the construction yard were being covered with layers of metamaterials that bent light and other forms of radiation around them. Combined with quantum field generators and gravity lenses, they would soon become nearly undetectable. "The latest data from the rim," General Chen announced, entering the observation deck. The holographic display he activated showed the approaching distortions, holes in reality that consumed everything in their path. 4 months ahead of our original estimates," Sarah observed grimly. "They're accelerating." But Lyra's scales shifted to a cautiously optimistic blue. "Yet our preparations are accelerating faster." "Show them." The display expanded, revealing the true extent of their work. Across consortium space, civilizations were going dark. Not through destruction, but through careful orchestration. Countless worlds were now hidden behind sophisticated cloaking fields, their technological signatures masked or redirected. "Pattern analysis confirms it," Chen reported. "To any outside observer, it appears that large sections of the galaxy are experiencing a technological collapse. The false signals we're broadcasting suggest civilizations destroying themselves or abandoning technology." Sarah smiled. "While in reality, they're advancing faster than ever before." The display shifted again, showing hidden shipyards throughout consortium space. Vessels were being constructed with hybrid technology, combining human stealth innovations with consortium power systems, but more importantly, they were being built in complete secrecy. "The Voidmakers hunt obvious power," Lyra noted. "So we give them the opposite. A galaxy seemingly in decline, hiding our true strength in plain sight." "Just as Earth did all those years," Sarah agreed, "but on a much grander scale." The observation deck dimmed as another fleet disappeared from view, their new stealth systems activating for the first time. To any observer, they would appear to be nothing more than background radiation. "The latest reports from our deep space probes are promising," Chen added. "The Voidmakers seem to be passing by sectors we've successfully masked. They're drawn to areas still broadcasting strong technological signatures." "How many worlds remain exposed?" Lyra asked. "Less than 12% of consortium space," Sarah replied. "And those are mostly automated decoy systems, designed to draw attention away from our hidden worlds." A new alert flashed across the displays. Another spatial distortion had appeared, larger than any previously recorded. But unlike before, this news was met with calm determination rather than panic. "They think they're hunting us," Lyra observed, her scales showing the deep violet of tactical satisfaction. "In reality, we're positioning them exactly where we want them." The display showed the vast network of cloaked sensors and hidden weapon platforms surrounding the apparent technological signatures. The trap was nearly ready. Humanity spent centuries learning to hide, Chen said. Now we've taught the galaxy to do the same. When the Void Makers finally strike at what they think are our last exposed worlds, they'll find that their prey has become the predator. Sarah finished. Every seemingly abandoned system, every apparent technological collapse, hides a fully prepared defense force. Lyra watched as another fleet vanished into the artificial night. We've reorganized an entire galaxy's worth of civilizations in less than a year. The level of cooperation required should have been impossible. Fear is a powerful motivator, Chen noted. But so is hope. We offered both. The observation deck fell quiet as they watched the ongoing work below. Humanity's greatest deception had evolved into the galaxy's greatest defense strategy. They had taught the consortium and its allies that true power didn't have to announce itself to the cosmos. Sometimes, the strongest position was the one that couldn't be seen at all. What happens after? Lyra asked finally. Assuming we survive the Void Makers, can the galaxy's civilizations return to their old ways? Sarah's expression was thoughtful. I don't think we'll want to. Earth discovered something important during our centuries of hiding. There's strength in silence, power in patience. We learned to advance without drawing attention, to grow without broadcasting our growth. Now the galaxy is learning the same lesson. Outside, the last visible ships disappeared into the artificial night, leaving only stars and shadows. But within those shadows, trillions of beings waited, watched, and prepared. The galaxy hadn't gone dark. It had simply learned to keep its light hidden until the right moment. The age of broadcasting power across the cosmos was over. The age of strategic silence had begun. And somewhere in the void between stars, ancient entities were about to learn that the loudest civilizons weren't necessarily the most dangerous ones.